Hello and welcome to another module in the Mastering the Marketplace series for SaaS offers. I'm David Starr, and in this module we are installing the SaaS Accelerator. First, a quick note about what this module is and what it's not. It is not a tour of the accelerator itself. For that, please watch the video SaaS Accelerator Overview in this video series. This is a quick and simple installation of the solution. In this video, we're simply going to install the solution, and we're going to do it the simplest way possible. Although the instructions are on the repository itself, sometimes it helps to have a quick video representation of the process. After we're done setting up the SaaS Accelerator in the Azure portal, we'll configure Partner Center with the necessary technical configuration. Our goal is to install the solution, so let's get started. First of all, we need to look at the prerequisites for what we need to install the accelerator. We need obviously an Azure subscription with permissions to create resources and a Partner Center account with at least developer permissions. You'll see that anyone with some basic knowledge of Azure can install this SaaS solution. And we're going to get started at this URL, aka.ms/SaaS Accelerator. We're going to start here at that repository which contains the accelerator itself. To get started, we'll go to https aka.ms/SaaS Accelerator, which will take us to the repository that holds the SaaS Accelerator and everything that we need to install it. Now, we've already in our overview video gone through what the accelerator is, so we're going to scroll down and focus just right here on installation. So there are installation instructions that are going to help us out. Here we can see that installation is going to be done via a script, and this script will execute in our Cloud Shell, as I'll show you in just a few moments. There are some optional values, and down here we can see that there's a table that explains every parameter to the script. Now, there are other ways to deploy the SaaS Accelerator, but those are more advanced and for development purposes typically. So in this case, we're going to install the simplest way possible, which is to grab this script. And I like to put it into a text editor so that I can work with it rather than working with it directly on the command line. So I'll get it filled out and then we'll execute it. So notice that what we have here is a git clone command. So we're going to clone the repository locally, and then we're going to change directories down into the deployment templates folder of that repository. The last thing we'll do, or I should say the next thing we'll do, is execute this command where we connect to Azure Active Directory, and then finally we run this deploy script. The deploy script takes the parameters that we're seeing here. I'm going to go through them and change things just a little bit. All of the resources that get created are going to be created with the web app name prefix. So I'm going to call this, instead of Marketplace SaaS GitHub, I'm just going to call it Marketplace SaaS. And we'll take the GitHub off of this one too, which is the SQL Server name. Now, I could try and use SQL Server login as admin, but it turns out this will throw an error. This version of SQL Server does not allow admin to be the admin username. So we'll keep it as admin login. Next, we'll need a very strong password. And in this case, because it's a demo, I'll just leave the one that we have. Down here, we need the publisher admin email. So I'm going to go ahead and use mine, David Starr, Microsoft.com. And then we get to choose the resource group we would like to deploy all of our resources into. I'm going to again take GitHub off, select Marketplace, SaaS, and I'll put an 01 at the end of that in case I want to deploy again later. We get to deploy the installation in pretty much any region because we're not doing anything magical here. We've just got a database, some web applications, and application registrations. In this case, I'll go ahead and deploy to East US, and then the path to the ARM template that's going to drive the installation is here. Now, one thing I can do to customize my script is to use some optional parameters, which I'm going to do. We're going to take these two parameters that allow us to put logos into our solution, and I'm going to use logos that are stored in blob storage in a data account. So they're publicly available on the internet. That's sort of the requirement that we have here. Notice that one is a PNG and one is an icon file. These are used to sort of brand the SaaS application after it's deployed. All right, we're ready to go. So I will copy this set of 4 commands into my paste buffer, and we'll head over to the Azure portal. In the Azure portal, I'm able to open my Cloud Console. So I'll do that, and we watch it initialize, which is going to give me a PowerShell prompt that I can use. I'll go ahead and maximize this so that we can see the command running as it goes. I need to right click and select paste, and we're off and running. Now the first question I'm asked is, do I want to use my default tenant ID, which happens to be this one, Elegant Code? And I'm going to go ahead and accept this as default, although I could put in one of the other tenants and accept that tenant ID. And I'll do the same for my subscription ID. But note that I did have the option of choosing a different subscription ID or a different tenant ID should I have wanted to. Now this installation is going to take just a moment to run, so I'm going to fast forward just a little bit in time. Our script is finished, and that took somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes depending on the installation itself. But what I want to point out now are some very important pieces of information that are given to us by the script at the end of its run. The first set of things we'll look at are the parameters that we need to fill out the technical configuration tab of our offer in the Partner Center portal. Notice this is the landing page we'll be putting into the Partner Center portal. I'll go ahead and copy that, and we'll pop over to the portal itself. Here we are in the Partner Center portal, and you can see that we're on Offer SaaS Accelerator 1, and we've got 2 plans here, Silver and Gold. Now, if you're not familiar with setting up all of the items over here, besides the technical configuration, I invite you to have a look at the video Publishing a SaaS Offer, because it'll take you through the process of setting up these other tabs. Let's jump straight into technical configuration. Now remember, we had our landing page URL, so I'll go ahead and paste that in. And now we need a URL for our webhook. Let's jump back over to our Cloud Shell. And you can see that that was output for us too. And we'll just grab that and paste it into our connection webhook. Jumping back over to our Cloud Shell, we can see that the following tenant ID in Partner Center SaaS technical configuration is required. So we'll take the tenant ID, copy that, paste it in, and finally we find the application ID that we need to fill out the technical configuration in Partner Center. And with that, we can hit Save Draft, and we've successfully saved our technical configuration. Now we can go to Review and Publish, check that all of the sections of our application are green over here and good to go. They are, so I'll come down and select the Publish button. And that's all there is to installing the SaaS Accelerator. Let's jump back over to our Cloud Shell and notice that we were given a few more pieces of information that we could use. The Publisher portal is located at this URL. So let's grab that URL and create a new tab in our browser and use it to access the Publisher portal. Here we are being challenged for Azure Active Directory sign-on. Note the permissions that we're giving are simply to read my profile. I'll go ahead and accept. And here we are at the SaaS Accelerator admin page. So we know that our application is up and running. Let's check our customer portal. We can grab that URL, copy it, come back over and paste it into our browser, and we're taken immediately to what will eventually be a landing page once we're passing our Marketplace Purchase ID token to this landing page. But now we know that our system is up and running. We've installed the SaaS Accelerator successfully. Finally, the last thing we'll look at is the resource group that we created and all of the resources inside of it. These resources are what constitute the working pieces of the SaaS Accelerator. Okay, so what happened in this particular module is simply that we installed the SaaS Accelerator solution and showed you how you can do so simply by using the included PowerShell script documented on the repository for the solution. We also configured Partner Center with the output parameters of the script, which is very handy. And finally, we used other output parameters of the script to visit both the landing page and the Publisher portal. So with that, I want to thank you very much for joining me in another module of the Mastering the Marketplace series for SaaS offers. And remember, you'll find more information, videos, sample code, and hands-on labs at aka.ms/Mastering the Marketplace.